It's that time of year again. Summer comes to an end, kids are headed back to school, and everyone sits down at their computer for some of the most important decision-making of the next few months. Today, we're talking about fantasy football draft day and how to win your league. Confession time. Every year, for like the last decade, my friends set up a league, and I opt out. I say, I'd rather just watch the games and enjoy my team instead of having to watch every single person all the time.
Good for you, I say.
So what am I missing here? Explain to me how this all works.
Well, you're missing a lot of headaches, but fun headaches at that. And, fantasy football, there's certain levels. One league and two league I put in the same. And then once you start getting three or four, I think it can get a little out of control. I would start with one league if you're a new fantasy football player. That way you can manage one team. You're not rooting against the same players or rooting for the same players. But you know what? The camaraderie of a league, 8-team, 10-team, 12, 14, incredibly fun, entertaining. There's a misconception that you need to check it every day. You don't in fantasy football. That's one of the best things about it. You can spend a half an hour a week, 20 minutes, and still be okay with it. You can also spend 3 hours if you want. But I'm telling you, it's a lot of fun, and it's definitely worth the headache.
This year, finally, Nita, I decided to jump in. What would be a rookie mistake for me to avoid?
A rookie mistake is don't draft a kicker until your absolute final round. A lot of people there'll be somebody who goes out and drafts a kicker, and then there'll be a run on kickers. Kickers really don't matter much in a fantasy football league. So that would be my nugget number one is don't draft a kicker until your absolute final round. Don't waste a draft pick on that. But I have to say really quick, Jordan, I'm so glad that I'm actually playing in a fantasy football league with you this season because I know I'm going to win.
In some senses, you can have a team where your commissioner, who's your best friend, might be a jerk to you, right? Last year, this email went viral. It's from an anonymous fantasy football commissioner to someone who was apparently his friend, but I'm sure he wasn't invited back to this year's league. Here's one excerpt. He wrote, as one of your best friends, I don't see how one, that is completely disrespectful to Mike and myself because of all the time and effort we put into this league. Two, disrespectful to the whole league. And three, how irresponsible you're being. You didn't need to go and get drunk at that time. You knew in advance about when the draft was. I'm not telling you not to go out and have fun on a Sunday, but you should have been responsible enough to leave, go to your house, be ready to draft at the time stated, just like everyone else. That's madness, you two. That's madness.
Is it though? One of my leagues is drafting on the Saturday of Labor Day weekend, and I've rearranged my vacation plans so that I'll be there Saturday at 1 on August 31st.
What does it do for your everyday football watching experience? As I said earlier, I kind of don't want to jump in on this because I like being able to focus on my own team. What's the advantage of having to focus on everything, everyone, all the time?
I think it just keeps you more involved in the season as a whole. I mean, do you really want to sit down and watch a game between the Browns and Jaguars? Not really.
No, then why do you have any incentive to watch it with a specific player? You don't want to watch the teams? Don't watch the teams.
Because you can watch it for just that specific player. You have a vesting interest in that game if you have a player there as opposed to just watching a crappy football game.
I was like you, did not know how it would affect my Sundays. Love just watching my team. But now you have DirecTV, Red Zone, and you can just watch the scoring plays if you want.
That's so crazy.
You also, Mike, as a result of fantasy football, the camaraderie of the league is very fun. The message boards, overall, I'd say, while there certainly are negatives, it can get out of control if you're not careful. Honestly, having one league as a starter is a terrific starting point. I recommend it to you. And I'm here. I can give you advice whenever you want.